Talakayang Parlamento. Talakayang Parlamento. Alamin ang mga impormasyon at usapin patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament na napapakinggan saan mang sulok ng BARMM. Mapapakinggan tuwing Huwebes mula alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga dito sa 90.9 DXMY IFM Cotabato. Talakayang Parlamento. Talakayang Parlamento. Mapapakinggan din sa DXMS AM 882 Radyo Bida, Brigada News FM 89.3, DXSO FM 99.7 Radyo Pilipinas sa Lanao del Sur, DXNO FM 97.5 Radyo Komunidad sa Basilan, DXSM AM 77.4 Radyo Pilipinas sa Hulo Sulu at DXSL FM 99.1 Radyo Suwara sa Tawi-Tawi. Ito ang mas pinalakas na programa na magbibigay ng impormasyon patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Talakayang Parlamento. Talakayang Parlamento.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang umaga Pilipinas, magandang umaga Bangsamoro. Welcome po sa pagbabalik nating pinalangkas na programa at ibigay sa inyo ng mga impormasyon at kaganapan patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Ito ang Talakayang Parlamentong official radio program ng Bangsamoro Transition Authority. Hatid sa inyo ng Public Information Publication and Media Relations Division sa ilalim ng Legislative Technical Affairs and Information Service. Akong inyong lingkod, Sheila de la Cruz Malik, makakasama niyo ngayong Huwebes mula alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga dito sa 90.9 DXMY IFM Cotabato, pati na rin sa DXMS AM 882 sa Radyo Bida. Sabay din po tayong napapakinggan ngayon sa lahat ng ating partner radio station sa buong Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Sa Lanao del Sur, napapakinggan po tayo sa DXSO FM 99.7 Radyo Pilipinas. At dahil mas pinalakas natin ang ating saklaw, tayo rin ay napapakinggan sa Basilan, Sulu at Tawi-Tawi. Sa Basilan, live po tayo sa DXNO FM 97.5 Radyo Komunidad sa probinsya ng Sulu. Napapakinggan tayo sa DXSM AM 77.4 Radyo Pilipinas, Holo. At sa Tawi-Tawi naman, napapakinggan tayo sa DXSL FM 99.1 Suwara, Tawi-Tawi. Mapapakinggan din po ang ating replay ng ating Talakayang Parlamento sa Brigada News FM 89.3 tuwing araw ng Sabado mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga. Napapanood rin po tayo live sa ating official Facebook page at Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament at live din po tayo sa ating YouTube at TikTok account at BTA Parliament. Sa mga nais lumahok sa ating talakayan, maaari po kayong mag-message sa ating cellphone number 0915-344-5307 o maaari kayong mag-iwan ng komento dito sa ating social media accounts. Maaari nyo rin bisitahin ang ating website at parliament.bangsamoro.gov.ph. Doon makikita niyo yung mga updates patungkol sa Bangsamoro Transition Authority, ano ba yung mga filed and approved bills and resolution at iba pang updates patungkol sa Bangsamoro Transition Authority. Sa episode na ito, malalaman natin ang mga kaganapan patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Ngayong linggo, kasalukuyan pong ginagawa ngayon yung public consultation, the first public consultations ng Committee on Rules at Committee on Local Government para po sa 3 proposed districting bills. At mamaya para bigyan tayo ng linaw kung ano ba itong mga nangyayari patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament at alam naman natin na ang daming kaganapan ngayon sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Kasama po natin sa ating programa ang isa sa mga bagong muka pero napakahalagang leader sa Bangsamoro Parliament, si Member of Parliament Ethan Kadatuan Jr. at ang Chair ng Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management. MP Kadatuan, magandang araw po and welcome to the program.
Magandang araw. Audio billahi minasyaitanir-rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Ayan po, syempre, ang daming nangyayari nga ngayon sa Bangsamoro Transition Authority. At alam naman po natin, isa po kayo ngayon sa talagang napakahalagang muka sa Bangsamoro Parliament. Pero before we go deep sa ating mga seryosohang usapan ngayong umagang ito, alamin muna natin bilang kayo ngayon ay you were appointed just last March as a member of the Parliament at for the benefit of our listeners, pwede niyo po ba kaming bigyan konting information about yourself. Sino po si MP Kitan Kadatuan bago pumasok sa public service?
Okay. I am, well, with respect to the BARM, no?
Mhm,
I was part of the GPH
mhm,
implementing panel by way of being a member of the coordination team for transition. So nandoon po tayo even during the BPL up to it at the time that it was passed sa BOL to the plebiscite and until such time na na-appoint po tayo as member of parliament. Although hindi po natin expected,
mhm,
alhamdulillah na-appoint tayo as member of parliament. Currently, I am the chairperson of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. And of course, a regular member of the parliament.
mhm. What made you accept this role in public service?
In terms of sa pagiging chairperson ko ng
Mhm,
Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, as I have mentioned before, I was part of the GPH as the focal person of the Department of Budget and Management. So ang mga nakakasama natin dyan previously, even during training, si Minister Boyda Pacasem. So I think I was chosen because of my technical knowledge sa budgeting yun sa CFPM. With respect naman sa Member of Parliament, of course, lahat naman tayo gusto natin matulungan ang Bangsamoro. Yun yung primary motivation. Alhamdulillah na tinanggap po natin yung position.
Nung tinawag po kayo to serve in the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, paano kayo nag-adjust sa ganitong klaseng trabaho? Legislative work, debates, public scrutiny?
We are already used to it, no?
Mhm.
Kasi nga we've been through the whole legislative process yun sa pag-enact pa lang ng BBL, then BOL, and on top of that, marami tayong mga batas na kailangan yung funding through the DBM and isa ako sa naging focal person na yon. Doon naman sa mga kasamahan natin, like what I've mentioned before, yung coordination team for transition, yung members niya mismo, nakakausap na din namin such as sila Deputy Speaker Nabiltan, Deputy Speaker Lorena, mga kasama namin yan sa GPH side. Tapos sa MILF side na naman ng City 40, sila former and now Deputy Speaker Attorney Laiha Dumama, sila Minister Raisa Jujuri, yan, lahat mga kasama natin. Sila Deputy Speaker Baintan, lahat mga kasama na. So, there was not much difficulty in
Mhm.
adjusting kasi halos lahat naman kakilala na din natin po.
So parang hindi na bago din sa'yo, no? Kasi even yung mga kasamahan niyo po ngayon sa parliament ay mga dati niyo na rin kasamahan sa trabaho.
Correct.
At nakatrabaho niyo na rin sila. At kaya kahit kami rin, napansin din namin na parang hindi ka nahirapan, parang kang matagal ng membro ng parlamento, ano, nung nandyan po kayo joining other members of the parliament sa mga debates.
Thank you so much for those kind words, ma'am.
Yes po. And syempre po ngayon, alam naman po natin na may mga issues, concerns yung ating mga kababayan patungkol sa kumusta iba yung relationship ng ating mga members of the parliament. Kayo po kayo yung nasa loob. Para syempre marinig po ng ating mga kababayan, kumusta po yung relationship ng ating mga members of the parliament, GPH, MILF, na mga groups?
Currently, now, kaya nga pag napapansin nyo, we don't have what we call a majority floor leader. We only have a floor leader. Meaning to say, isa lang kami. We are united, but of course, as with any other group of people, organization, and for this matter, parliament, a collegial body, may mga different opinions. But that is precisely the point of having a parliament kasi parliament from the word to speak, meaning to say, i-share mo kung ano yung, o sabihin mo kung ano yung opinion nyo. So, in certain instances, napansin nga namin na kailangan din talaga may mag-mediate. Ganun din ginagawa natin sa mas mga mahirap na mga bagay na may mag-mediate. Pero alhamdulillah, wala namang masyadong it's a regular part of a parliament having different opinions.
Yes, at siyempre sa kaalaman po ng ating mga kababayan na alam naman po natin yung composition ng ating members of the parliament ngayon, merong nasa government, merong nasa MILF, pero gaya ng nabanggit po ni MP Kitem na ngayon nga wala ng majority, minority, parte din ng discussion, yung may mga debates talaga, hindi naman lahat ay agad nag-yes at mahalagang makita din yun ng ating mga kababayan na yung ating mga MPs po ay may mga iba't ibang views pero at the end of the day, na aayos din po lahat ng mga ito. At syempre po ngayon, alam naman po natin na ikaw ngayon yung chair ng Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, which is a huge responsibility. Paano po nangyari itong appointment na to or election ng some members of the parliament? And how are you handling this important role so far?
Okay, as with respect to the appointment, no, or for the election as the chairperson of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, I think again it was because that I had previous experience sa budgeting.
Mm.
Okay. Next would be kami din kasi yung isa sa mga nakakasama before ng Ministry of Finance, Budget and Management, and in fact kami yung nag-train sa iba along with Region 12 DBM, the director, no, Director Ahmad Usman. Then kung dito naman natin titingnan sa kung paano natin i-handle budgeting is a regular process of any government, whether dito sa parliament natin or doon sa national government. So mabigat kasi nga we hawak natin, no, and we are looking at the budget for the entirety of the region, not only a single ministry, office or agency, but for the entirety of the region. Ang kagandahan naman is this is with guidance because ang priority ng ating mahal na Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Samigambar A. Makakwa is in accordance with the Bangsamoro Organic Law, which is to prioritize first education, then you have your health, and then of course your financial assistance para mag-normalize yung sa mga areas na nangangailangan.
At alam naman po natin na nitong nakaraang linggo ay nagkaroon nga ng mensahe na si Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Makakwa patungkol sa proposed budget sa 2026. At alam naman po ng mga kababayan na yun na merong 114 billion proposed budget ang Bangsamoro government for fiscal year 2026. That's one of the biggest budgets so far, ano? As the chair of the Committee on Finance, kailan po yung mga nakaschedule na budget deliberation para dito? At can you walk us through the budget process? Ano ang magiging papel ng committee ninyo in scrutinizing every minister's budget proposal?
Okay. Sa first, yung sa budget, no, the 114.07 billion budget, that will increase next year and for the subsequent years. It will always increase kasi yung collection ng taxes are part of the calculation of the budget. So hindi siya aatras. No, unless na syempre there will be very unforeseeable and undesirable matters na mangyari nationally. Pero kasi ang annual block grant natin, ang calculation niya based on taxes collected. So definitely mas mataas this year and then definitely next year mas tataas. So yung paano natin ma-handle, we go through the budget steps, no? But for I think for our viewers to understand, there is a budget preparation. So yun for the purpose of the Ministry of Finance na i-review nila kung in accordance ba sa polisiya ng current head of the government natin, ng Bangsamoro government na si Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Makakwa. And then yung mga programs na hindi na kailangan, they will remove it and replace with programs which must be prioritized in accordance again with the policy. And then we have your budget legislation. Nandoon na kami pumapasok. So currently, the Bangsamoro Expenditure Program was submitted last week. Along with this, yung tinatawag natin na GAB. yung General Appropriations Bill on the
Mm.
Bangsamoro, yung bill, bago pa natin magamit yun to authorize us to implement, kailangan ma-enact muna natin siya. So wala pa tayo nakapag second reading, but preferably we will have the second reading immediately after na mag-session or during the session. So i-refer na, once na-refer yun sa second reading, rather, once it has gone second reading, it will be referred to the Committee on Finance, Budget, and Management. And
Pang schedule.
desirably, we have November 10 sa yung referral kasi hindi namin pwede siya i-review kung hindi pa naman na-refer po sa committee namin. So, November 10 o 11, as soon as possible kasi having a re-enacted budget is not an option.
Yes.
Not an option. So, pagka-refer, then we have, ang tentative na schedule ko na pinadala, for me, as the chairperson of the mother, as well as the subcom A, yun kasi yung gusto ko na arrangement ngayon sa paano natin i-handle yung budget. We have subcommittees para mabilis. And then, hindi ma-overload yung mind or utak ng yung mga kapwa members of parliament natin. And we placed strategically sino yung expert doon sa ministry na yun. Let's say, we have in one ministry, Ministry of Health, then naglagay tayo ng mga doctors doon, such as MP Dilangale. We have sa Ministry of Public Order and Safety, Pison Erdrian, we have MP Butchmala. So, ganun ginawa natin. For me, Subcom A, we start November 17 and then onwards. For our chairperson sa Subcom B, which is Attorney Nagib Sinarimbo, he also starts November 17 as early as that, then so on. With the remaining two, si chairperson ng Subcom C, which is Attorney Jose Iribani Lorena, he will start November 24 and so on. And yung sa Subcom D, which doon under for review ang Ministry of Public Works, nandoon po engineer din yung chairperson natin, which is si Deputy Speaker Engineer by Intan Ampatuan. They will also start November 24 and so on hanggang sa matapos. After ng committee, we refer it back to the plenary. Magre-report ako along with my vice chairpersons. And then, we will enact it, inshallah.
Pero kayo nga, ngayon nga po, kayo ngayong bagong chair ng Committee on Finance, ano, meron po bang pinagkaiba yung process na gagawin ninyo or strategy na gagawin ng committee ninyo compared to the previous members ng Committee on Finance?
Yes, definitely magkakaiba. We had three, one acting, that was previous MP Arnado, Attorney Arnado. Then we have architect, the current Minister of Ministry of Public Works. So magkakaiba. Yung sa una, they have subcom and then they present it again to the mother committee. And then itong sa pangalawa naman, they have the mother committee lang, walang subcom. So entirety. And this time around, subcom lang, but then we will gather everyone for final review of the mother committee report. And this is similar to what is done sa Congress natin and then sa Senate. For me, as the chairperson, I opted to do that because initially I was preparing to enact the budget on October. Kasi with for all intents and purposes, lahat tayo nag-prepare for the October 13 election. So actually may mga napadala na ako na sulat requesting for the documents kasi we prepared doon sa ano. And then for this time around din, this is the very first time na medyo yung expenditure program natin due to yung mga mga nangyari, medyo late na din siya talaga na submit. So we have to use a time-tested strategy, which is yun nga, this is used in the House of Representatives and the Senate, the upper house, in their budget subcom, then use that report as part of the mother committee report.
Ayun. Sa na-present po na budget, Bangsamoro Expenditure Program ni Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Makakwa, nakita na po ba ninyo, basa na po ba ninyo yung buong proposed budget? Saan po yung magiging focus ng Bangsamoro government sa kanilang proposal? Anong sectors? At alam naman natin na ito nga yung malaking budget at saan po yung mga biggest share sa proposed budget natin for 2026?
Yes, nabasa ko na.
Mhm.
In fact, even before the submission, kaya nga, kasi we will trying to prepare doon sa October,
Mhm.
I had, pero hindi pa siya yun yung approved, but I had the opportunity to review the expenditure program. So, may mga konting tweaking and changes, but it is still similar to those expenditure programs or budget ng past years. Focusing on education, health, then infrastructure or financial assistance. So doon yung pinakamalaki. Meaning to say, si Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education has 32.6 out of the 114 billion. So that would be around 28% ng yung ano natin, entirety of the budget. And then we have your Ministry of Health. I think it was around 8.6 billion, around 7.5% yan siya. And then we have your sa BTA, and then you have your Ministry of Public Works, around 5.7. Pero you might notice that before it is 11B sa itong year na ito, but then ito is natira 5B because we have an infrastructure development na hindi under doon sa ministry, which is yung pag-create natin ng finally, alhamdulillah, yung Bangsamoro Government Center natin, which is around 15 billion. So, this will total up to yung infrastructure natin ng around 20.5 or 20.7 billion, which is around, ano na din, mga 18%, 19% ng yung total budget natin.
At gaya na nabanggit ni MP Kitem, ang Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education ay merong 32.6 billion na proposed budget. Ang Ministry of Health ay merong 8.6. Ang Ministry of Public Works ay merong 5.7 billion. At there is pag-uusapan pa ito sa committee. Pero kayo po sa committee, gaano or paano magiging magiging stricto ba yung Committee on Finance, Budget and Management? Kasi alam naman po natin yung transparency and accountability are crucial para masigurong bawat piso ay mapupunta nga sa tama. Sabi nga niya, Chief Minister Macacua na sa bawat sentimo, sentro ang Bangsamoro. So kayo po sa Committee on Finance, gaano kayo magiging stricto? Paano bubusisiin yung proposal budget ng bawat ministries?
That's correct, no, na we have to focus on what the policy of the Honorable Chief Minister had said, Chief Minister Macacua, na sentro ang Bangsamoro people. And in fact, hindi lang ito basta-basta natin na government obligation as officials of the government, but this is an obligation from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala kasi amana natin ito. You have I already met with our members of the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, and I had 2 meetings with the vice chairpersons who also serve as the chairpersons of the subcom, and I always reminded them that yung sa verse natin, sa ayat natin sa Quran na inalahiya murukum antum tu'adul amanati ila. This is, we have to render back the trust to the people, meaning to say, kung titingnan natin mismo yung mga ministries na nakaka-implement. And we help those ministries to further those programs and sa mga ministries na hindi nakaka-implement. And we will cut. Very strict. I already asked permission from the Honorable Chief Minister that if itong mga ministry na ito hindi maka-implement or nakaka-implement, then we'll cut those budget and transfer it to a more responsible ministry having programs that can be implemented for the benefit of the people. So I think this is the first time around na magkakaroon tayo ng cuts sa budget through the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. And in fact, we've already done that na nag-oversight na tayo as a prelude to kung anong mangyayari sa hindi sila nag-implement. And this was also done for the very first time under me dito sa Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, we made an oversight on certain lump sum budgets. So nakita natin yung mga implementing and non-implementing, kita natin yung problema. May mga instances kasi talaga na it's either not the ministry's fault, unforeseeable, or manpower. So doon tayo sa kaya niya. Marami siyang budget pero hindi niya naman kaya gamitin. So we will look carefully into that, but expect budget cuts and expect those budget will be placed into programs that will benefit the Bangsamoro people, inshallah ta'ala.
So possible pa na mababago pa
Yes.
yung mga proposed sa budget ng ating mga ministries. So talagang ito yung aabangan ng ating mga kababayan. Especially ito ay na-publish naman din natin kung ano yung mga proposed sa budget ng ating mga ministries din. I mean, the top 10 big proposal sa 2026. At gaya na nabanggit ni MP Kitem, na maaring magbago pa yung mga proposed budget ng ating mga ministries. Depende sa kung paano ito madedefend at paano nila makikita yung mga programs ng ating mga ministries. At gaya nga po na nabanggit niyo na focus din kayo sa mandato din ni Chief Minister na sentro nga ang Bangsamoro. Pero for ordinary citizens po, paano nila mararamdaman yung epekto ng budget na ito sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na buhay? Especially nga po, napakalaki ng budget na to, 114 billion. Paano mararamdaman ito ng ating mga kababayan? Kayo po sa Committee on Finance, ano po yung mga gagawin ninyo?
Okay, those budget, no, that particular budget, yung 114.07 is life-changing for every constituency of the Bangsamoro government. Kung nai-implement siya at kung nai-implement man, nai-implement ng tama. So the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management, ang supervision niya dyan, and the Parliament in its entirety, ang magagawa niya is to have oversight, budget oversight over this. Titingnan natin ano yung na-implement. And then again, we will place measures na masisigurado na ma-implement. Even if we have to place specific provisions para ma-force yung or ma-mandate yung ministry to implement. Now, kung para sa mga constituency natin, yung education, yun ang pinakakailangan natin, kaya nga yun yung pinakamalaking budget. We will place measures there and we will look at it carefully kung talaga bang yung lahat ng mga programa nila is na-implement, yung mga scholarships, the personal services are filled up, and other programs nila. Doon naman sa ating mga ibang mga ministries such as health, we can also improve on that, inshallah. Kung halimbawa kaya naman talagang zero billing, then we'll try to push for that. But definitely alam naman ng mga constituency natin na marami na tayong mga hospitals na paglagyan ng mga mga medical assistance, medical outreach programs. Meron tayong libreng gamot, libreng bayad sa hospital, ganun. Similar to yung sa MBHE scholarships na naman. And then financial assistance such as yung either cash, through scholarship assistance, for the MLF, MNLF, Mujahidins, Lumads, Christian communities who are impoverished. May mga ganun po tayo. So we will have our oversight. This year, kahit napasa yung budget, I will try to conduct yung oversight quarterly, inshallah. Even if we will have the election March 31, 2026, yun yung kasi yung current na trend ngayon or statement, I will conduct the oversight, no, supervision by March pa rin.
At isang sigurado magiging stricto ang Committee on Finance pagdating sa pagbusisi sa mga proposed budget ng ating mga ministries. At ready na ang Committee on Finance para pag-usapan ito, gaya nga lang nabanggit ni MP Kitem na meron ng mga subcommittees na nabuo ang Committee on Finance para tumutok sa iba't ibang mga ministries. Dumako naman po tayo dito sa isa rin sa malaking issue sa Bangsamoro Parliament, ang districting bills. At ngayon po, meron tayong tatlo. Kasalukuyan nga ngayon, nagkakaroon ng first public consultation ang Committee on Rules at Committee on Local Government pagdating doon sa tatlong proposed districting bills. At ngayon ay nasa tawi-tawi po yung ating mga MPs. Kayo nga po, alam naman po natin na syempre kayo yung isa sa mga naging matunog noong nakaraang proposed districting bill. Isa rin kayo sa mga nag-propose ng kung paano yung arrangement, ano? Nung nagkaroon po ba ng ruling na yung Supreme Court patungkol sa pagiging unconstitutional ng BAA 77 and BAA 58, paano po ninyo tinanaw yung resulta or ruling ng Supreme Court?
Well, it's the Supreme Court, no, na of course we have to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court, and these are people, no, who attained those positions because of their vast knowledge and expertise on matters, legal matters. So currently, since there is a declaration of unconstitutionality, although wala pang finality because I think there's still a motion for reconsideration filed by our Bangsamoro Attorney General's office. But nevertheless, uh, we because this again trust ng Bangsamoro people sa atin itong trabaho natin, we continue to conduct or to try to enact the districting law pursuant to the guidelines, yung nakalagay mismo doon sa desisyon ng Supreme Court. Para ang ma-enact natin na batas ay according doon and responsive sa mga hinaing ng mga tao. Kaya nga parte ng public consultation, rather ng pagpasa ng batas, ang public consultation para marinig natin yung mga tao. Dahil gobyerno nyo ito, ang batas na mga ginagawa namin base din po sa kagustuhan ng mga tao. So there are 3 bills filed, but it does not necessarily mean na yun lang ang mafa-file, because in fact I intend to file my own version of the bill, but inshallah ta'ala that maybe in this coming few days, if time permits, then we will submit our version of the bill.
So meron ng tatlo, aasahan pa natin na meron another version ng bill mula kay MP Kitem para nga dito, at ayon sa kanya nagkaroon nga siya ng mga consultations din sa kanyang mga constituents. At ngayon po, syempre alam naman po natin na ayon sa Supreme Court na by March 2026 or not later than March 2026 dapat magkaroon na tayo ng first parliamentary elections dito sa Bangsamoro Region. Ready na po ba ang Bangsamoro Parliament na magpasa ng districting law sa atin? Especially, ilang buwan na lang din ang natitira at kailangan din ng COMELEC na mag-prepare kapag meron na tayong districting law.
Okay. Sa outside, I have 2 opinions there. So, first, personally, no, this is not the tawag dito, and the opinion or the entirety, yung heart ng yung parliament, no? This is not what the parliament desires, but personally, I would want the districting law, not redistricting kasi districting law, because we have no districting law remaining, to be enacted with due diligence. Meaning to say, hindi natin madaliin, otherwise we will risk enacting another unconstitutional law. If we deprive our constituency of their opportunity to participate in the legislative process, such as yung public consultation, then mahihirapan tayo na maitama na naman ulit yung lalabas na batas. So, it's either we choose na madaliin and comply with the order of the Supreme Court, labas pa dyan yung opinion ko regarding their opinion, their order, but or we do it correctly this time around. Huwag nating sobrang madaliin, no? Dapat solid. Dapat solid. Every voice of the Bangsamoro must be heard. Now, with respect to the parliament, kung ready ba o hindi, we can pass the districting law. Even, we can call a special session. We can do that. But is it the correct way? Or is it right to pass the law without even consulting those who are the real stakeholders here, the Bangsamoro people? Anytime ready ang Bangsamoro Parliament, we can pass it. Even today, kung tatawagin yung special session. Whatever version it is, then nakadepende. Kahit nga naman yung sabi ko, file kami ng bill, kahit 10 bill pa yan. Eventually, we will consolidate it. And ang lalabas din na huling bill is yung the will of the people. Yun nandoon sa final version of it.
Ayun, at gaya nga nabanggit po ninyo na meron tayong tatlo at kayo meron din kayong version at maaari yung ibang mga MPs ay magkakaroon din ng version ng kanilang districting bill. Meron din po ba tayong aantayin mula sa government of the day na version ng districting law bill?
For according to my personal knowledge, wala pa akong naririnig, no? But I think it should be, ito opinion ko din, it should be done, no? That the government of the day will file a bill. But whether or not the government of the day files a bill, it does not prevent us. Hindi tayo mapipigilan na pumasa ng districting bill. Yun lang, yung version yun ng government of the day.
At session po next week. May gagawing session yung ating mga members of the parliament next week. Ano yung aasahan nung ating mga kababayan sa session, especially in-amend natin yung schedule nung session ng ating mga MPs. Usually, ito ay nagaganap every third and fourth week of the month. Pero ngayon, magkakaroon na ng session next week. Ano po yung mga aasahan ng ating mga kababayan? At gaano ka-importante itong session na to? Bakit in-amend yung calendar ng session ng ating mga MPs?
Before I answer that, going back to your previous question, isa sa tingin ko kaya hindi pa nakakapasa ng Government of the Day bill, kasi nga premature yata siya para sa bago kay Bangsamoro Attorney General's Office kasi wala pang finality yung decision. So meaning to say, baka malay mo na mabuhay ulit yung BAA 58, mabuhay ulit yung BAA 77, and we can use that districting law outside of, kasi both yon ang nakapasa doon is government of the day bill with minor amendments regarding doon sa ano niya. So I think that's one of the reason kaya hindi pa nagpa-file ng government of the day bill kasi naantay yung resolution ng yung motion for reconsideration. Once the decision becomes final, then maybe the government of the day bill will be filed. As to yung current question mo for the next week's session, the very reason why we amended the calendar para makapag-conduct ng session, ng parliamentary session is para mapasa yung mga priority bills. So, nabigyan tayo ng konting oras if ever 2026 March ang election natin, na we can finally pass the priority bills such as the Budget System Act under me, and then yung Revenue Code under kay Chairperson or Deputy Speaker Lorena, Attorney Lorena, then yung Labor Code under kay MP Pagayaw. So maraming priority bills. And another thing is yung sabi ko kanina na i-refer na for second reading yung GAB, yung General Appropriations Bill on the Bangsamoro natin para meron na kaming jurisdiction to review the GAB, the expenditure program.
Ayun, at alam naman natin ito ay gagawin na next week. Maraming mga aasahan na mga batas na maaring ma-approve next week na session. At isa din po sa, syempre, gusto nating itanong kay MP Kit, and then alam naman po natin ito nga BTA Conscience Alliance. you've been associated with this group. Para doon sa mga hindi pa familiar sa alliance na ito, ano ang alliance nito at ano yung mga values or principles na ah, tinatanong nitong alliance na to?
Yes. So we've made the launching of that particular alliance. It's not a party, no. Alliance, meaning to say these are um, individuals or maybe a group who have the same values, sentiments, moral principles. So ang initially na naramdaman namin at mapapansin niyo po doon, the members are all members of parliament who were appointed at the same time. Or maybe later on kasi si MP Butch Malang yung appointment niya was a bit later pero sabay-sabay kami na nag-take ng oath sa Malacanang. So, napansin kasi namin during that time is that may certain instances na hindi rin through parliament, true, meaning to say totoong parliament kasi we're not even consulting each other. So that is, in fact, kaya nga gusto natin ni Parliament because ito yung closest thing sa makapag-comply tayo doon sa directive ng Quran, ng Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, yung sa wa'amruhum shura bainahum. Meaning to say, those people who settles issues or make solutions by way of consultation. So hindi pwedeng sabihin ng isang tao na ganito, it will be done. We have to consult each other. Ang problema, dahil nga medyo sa tagal na din ng time na medyo na in-place yung ganun na lack of consultation, medyo may mga rift na, and we desire to fill in that void na yung may mag-mediate or may mag-consult with each other. And by the end of the day, kaya nga tayo parliament, nagbobotohan, whether may different opinions, hindi ibig sabihin magulo yung parliament, but rather it is a sign na healthy yung parliament. Otherwise, parang dictatorship. Kung walang yes, walang no, walang although nangyayari naman yan. But
Yes.
definitely, dapat may yes and no dyan. So the Conscience Alliance desires to fill in this void, to hear the conscience of not only the members of parliament, but this will include also the ministries. And of course, ang gusto namin, babaan talaga namin yung mga tao. If time permits, inshallah ta'ala, gagawa kami ng program and bababaan talaga namin. In fact, we're in the midst of tawag dito, crafting the strategic plan for the program. So marami yun. Mga sustainable assistance sa mosques, sa madrasas. Actually, kinakandak na namin pero i-official launch na talaga namin. Then, school assistance for the children of mujahidins, MLFs, MNLFs, any kind of mujahideen, no? Tapos financial assistance and goods assistance for lumads and Christian communities who are impoverished, katulad ng na-mention ko kanina. May mga may mga related sa mga arts such as mga slogan making, drawing, mga ganun. Medyo we're there, pero we will have we'll find a perfect timing for the launching of the program, inshallah.
Kung makakaapekto yung decision ng alliance sa mga usapin sa Bangsamoro Parliament, especially yung mga bills na pag-uusapan, especially itong districting at iba pang bills sa Parliament. May epekto po ba yung decision ng or comments, recommendations mula dito sa alliance ito?
For every member of Parliament, they are given weight, no? Kung sa alliance, 7 kami, pero kahit isang member of parliament yan, it could turn the tide, meaning to say the favor to one decision to another. So halimbawa ang numbers na present, let's say 20, tapos 41, tapos may 20 na nag-no, then nag-21 na nag-yes, so mananalo yung 21. Isa lang yung difference doon. But for us, Conscience Alliance, we have 7 members and we desire to add more to our ranks, our numbers. So malaking sa tingin ko malaking bagay ang to have 7 members of parliament uh, to support a particular advocacy or a particular matter, or rather to um, uh, scrutinize a particular advocacy or legislative agenda.
Daming ginagawa ng office ni MP Kitim, ano? At siya mismo, ang dami niyang ginagawa. Maliban sa mga kabisihan ng kanyang office sa mga bills dito sa Bangsamoro Parliament, meron pa nitong Conscience Alliance. Pero ito nga po, syempre, aside from your work in the Parliament, ano po yung mga programs or advocacies naman ng office ni MP Kitim?
Yes, sa law office namin, we have a law office, but this is headed by my brother, no? My big brother, si Attorney Arif Kadatuan. So we render free legal consultation, and in certain instances, talagang yung buong kaso, the case, we handle it. And then may mga programs din kami na sa notary, no, free. And outside of yung sa mga legal matters, we help although ito secretly talaga na ginagawa kasi ayoko kasi baka it may be seen as a uh, yung pagyayabang, and I don't want to prejudice my good deeds by the end of the day sa day of judgment, no. Well, we help mosque, we help madrasas, we help yung mga orphans. But maybe the people, no, they who already received help from us can speak for us, no? Kasi mahirap kung ako ang mag-relay ng kung ano yung mga na nagawa po na charitable mga nagawa.
Kayo po bilang member of the parliament, at alam naman po natin itong mga nakaraan, talagang may mga debate, may mga mataas na emosyon ang mga nangyari dito sa parliament, ano. Kayo po, paano naman po paano kayo nakakatulong para maging united pa din itong mga members of the parliament despite of the differences nga ng mga opinions and views sa atin sa parliament, especially may mga concerns din sa social media. Nakikita naman natin itong MILF-led pa ba ang BTA. Paano po niyo sa part niyo sa parliament na may ensure pa rin na united, at paano natin ma-assure yung ating mga kababayan na despite these differences ay united pa din?
For me personally, and I think the members of the Conscience Alliance share the same thought, no,
Mhm.
and opinion. That kung ano man yung galaw namin, it should uh, uh, be directed to what will unite us.
Mhm.
Ang kagandahan naman sa parliament natin is because those people who are appointed as members of parliament have maturity, political maturity. They don't take it personally. Pero syempre, as with any work environment, no, kahit anong trabaho naman, meron talagang problema dyan. May stressful siya. Sa statement naman ng yung whether MILF led, all I can say is that if there is such a violation, no, or meron man numbers na nakalagay dyan, whether sa CAB or sa organic law, then demandable yan. Meaning to say, kung nakasulat yan na ito dapat yung numbers kasi 4139, you can demand it kasi yan yung batas. Isa pa ako sa tutulong because I'm a lawyer. I want the law to be implemented. Not only that, but again, I was a member of the coordination team for transition. Part ako na pinaghirapan namin yung peace process. So right now, the head of the government, which leads the BTA, is none other than the BF Chief of Staff and MILF BF Chief of Staff and current sitting Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Samigabar A. Makakwa. And we have as head of the parliament itself, which was ito yung tunay na elect talaga eh. Very first elected dito siya. kasi hindi siya appointed, but elected as the Speaker of the Parliament, which is Dr. Ustads, no? Muhammad Shoaib Yaqub, which endorsement or recommendation came from the MILF Central Committee. So I think everything is still MILF led.
At alam naman natin na marami pa pong kaganapan ng Bangsamoro Parliament bilang kayo ay bago dito sa Bangsamoro Parliament, appointed nga nung last March. Ano ang legacy na gustong iwan ni MP Kitan Kadatu?
Uh, we all desire, no, as children of the Bangsamoro, to at the very least leave something na sa next generation, na matulungan sila, that they will not experience what we have experienced. And marami na ang narating ng Bangsamoro because of the peace and order na-attain natin. But again, marami pang dapat gawin. So kailangan may maiwan tayo at the very least na worthy, na masabi natin yung mga anak natin na alhamdulillah, pwede sila dito sa lugar natin. Hindi natin sila ipapadala pa sa ibang lugar kasi masasabi sa mismong sarili natin na masasabi natin yung lugar natin hindi safe o hindi maganda o yung mga government processes or bureaucracy dyan and hindi maganda. So yun yung gusto natin ituwid. And this is in accordance with moral governance din na unang-una tinanim ni previous interim chief minister, our Amirul Mujahideen, Alhaj Murad Ahod Palawag Ibrahim.
At panghuli, how do you want to be remembered?
In fact, even if I di na ako maalala, no, but I want to see the people, not person based, but I want to see the people, even my children, my kids, na ma-enjoy nila yung fruits of the Bangsamoro struggle. Especially makorek natin yung mga injustices. Kasi talagang nakakaawa pag nakita mo yung mga mujahidin natin, they're still suffering, no? They're still deprived of what they are promised to. Hindi na correct. Kung ano yung paghihirap nila na hindi mapaaral yung mga anak nila, ganun pa rin ang iba. Kung ano yung si Bapa, nakasakay pa rin sa kalabaw, ganun pa rin ang ano nila. So, yun yung gusto natin, ayaw na natin makita. Ano. And I will be so much happy, no, kung makita natin na nag-improve yung lugar natin and then ma-strengthen natin ang Islam, inshallah ta'ala.
Sabay-sabay aangat yung mga Bangsamoro, dahil alam naman natin, maraming programa at proyekto ang nabibigay ngayon ng Bangsamoro government at aabangan po natin ngayon yung 114 billion proposed budget ng Bangsamoro government at dapat ito ay maramdaman ng ating mga kababayan at ang election po ay aasahan natin kung matutuloy man sa March 2026. Lagi nating pinapaalala sa ating mga kababayan na tayo ang may kapangyarihan na pumili kung sino yung magiging leader natin sa Bangsamoro Parliament, sa Bangsamoro Government. At before we end our program, meron po ba kayong mensahe sa ating or gustong batiin before we end our program?
Nagpapasalamat po ako sa lahat ng nakikinig at nanonood sa ating programang Talakayang Parlamento. Definitely, itong programa na po ito, ang dapat nyo panoorin kung gusto nyo ng update sa Parliament. At sa mga kasamahan ko naman sa government, especially sa members of Parliament, galingan po natin dahil ang nakaka-benefit dito by the end of the day are our own people, inshallah. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat, MP Kitan Kadatuan Jr. sa pagpapa-unlock po sa ating programang Talakayang Parliamentong Official Radio Program ng Bangsamoro Transition Authority. Aabangan po ng mga kababayan natin ang mga programa ng inyong opisina, especially ngayon sa Committee on Finance. For more updates, you can check our official social media accounts at Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament. Doon po makikita ninyo live yung session ng ating mga MPs at updates patungkol sa Committee on Finance na maaring ngang maganap according to MP Kitem after the session next week. At abangan po natin lahat yan. Karapatan po natin na malaman kung ano yung mga programa ng Bangsamoro government, especially ngayon na malaki yung budget na nakalaan para sa atin. At gaya na nabanggit ni Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Makakwa, na ang sa bawat sentro ang Bangsamoro. Muli, maraming salamat, MP Kitem Kadatuan. At sa lahat po na nakinig sa atin sa programa natin Talakayang Parlamento, maraming salamat po sa lahat nating partner radio stations na nakasubaybay sa atin sa Talakayang Parlamento. Again, you can check our official social media accounts at BTA Parliament at ang ating website at parliament.bangsamoro.gov.ph. Yun po makikita yung updates patungkol sa Bangsamoro Transition Authority. Sa ngalan ni Speaker Muhammad Yacoob at the Secretary General Professor Rabi Angkal, ako ang inyong likod, Sheila de la Cruz Malik mula sa Public Information, Publication and Media Relations Division. Muli, magandang umaga. Wassalam.
Talakayang Parlamento. Talakayang Parlamento. Alamin ang mga impormasyon at usapin patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament na napapakinggan sa anumang sulok ng BARMM. Mapapakinggan tuwing Huwebes mula alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga dito sa 90.9 DXMY IFM Cotabato. Talakayang Parlamento. Talakayang Parlamento. Mapapakinggan din sa DXMS AM 882 Radyo Bida, Brigada News FM 89.3, DXSO FM 99.7 Radyo Pilipinas sa Lanao del Sur, DXNO FM 97.5 Radyo Komunidad sa Basilan, DXSM AM 77.4 Radyo Pilipinas sa Hulo Sulu, at DXSL FM 99.1 Radyo Suwara sa Tawi-Tawi. Ito ang mas pinalakas na programa na magbibigay ng impormasyon patungkol sa Bangsamoro Parliament.